All right. You can't make this shit up. Your hosts, David Washington and Joel Hawksley of Jay and Washington, your political innovators here in Central Florida. And we've got a good one. This is a cookie to Joel and the Republicans.
Yay!
Our next topic. I you know when you see a good game, you have to acknowledge it. And Republicans, they got a good game. And so this particular topic, the center of the Republican universe, right here
Uh,
in
David,
Florida.
you heard it's the center of Universal because we can't get into Disney anymore. Oh,
They
that
see you
joke aside,
coming. They ask for
we
your Republican card. They see you
they,
coming.
they see me coming. So Florida has become a real Republican stronghold, David, in recent years, due
Yes.
in part because of the growing number of Hispanic voters, who are aligning with the GOP. Now, these voters are often motivated by the opposition to abortion, their support of stricter border security, and their belief that the smaller government is important. And they're really getting a strong military, but they're also being focusing really a lot on where they think that the Democratic Party is a rise in socialism inside the party. So they're not engaging with the Democrats as much as they used to. Um, it's not like the right to bear arms or the right for free speech are a problem. So let's go, David. Let's look at this Hispanic rise in the Republican Party and see where we're at.
Again, I hand it to the Republican Party of Florida. They have whooped ass. And again, as I like to remind Democrats who consider themselves engaged, that they need to up their game and that things are not going to change overnight. As Christian Ziegler said, the his main focus in regards to Democrats is make sure there are no Democrats in Florida
Hmm.
in elected office. And that is bold, that is serious, and it's happening. Look at the state legislature, look at the governor's mansion, look at the Florida Supreme Court. Republicans dominate. And with Florida ever growing, with Florida, besides the inflation issue that they're experiencing right now, with budget surpluses, it's Florida is selling itself as good for families, good for businesses. That can be debated. However, the truth is, Florida is the center of the Republican universe, and Florida is the test kitchen. It is the experimental lab for a lot of conservative agenda items, initiatives, legislative bills, and laws.
Now,
You,
David,
you gotta hand it to 'em. And this
I'm
has been
literally in my
generations in the works,
yeah,
generation in the works.
literally in my hand right now. I have my GOP Florida GOP card. I got my statement dinner VIP pass. Got to see. I got to meet the uh, let's see, the speaker designate. There was just Barnaby was there. Uh, uh, Rachel Plakin was there. David Smith was there. And when you go to this thing, and it's not even, you don't even have to be VIP to get the energy that was in that room
Right.
in the Rosen Center, and to get in there and to hear the speakers. I mean, usually you try to get like this huge speaker, but we just kept to Florida's own, really, except for Ben Shapiro, who is a Florida resident now because he finally left California because it was just out of reach
Sure.
for his family. And we also, the other conversation we had was about this trans world where we had um, the the NCAA. God, I just forgot her name, but the young lady that spoke out about having a man in the swimming competition. So she got an opportunity to speak. But we are we are as a party, we are focusing really about our social issues right now because of what was exposed during the COVID and what was going on with some of the education. So, you know me, I think that's an area where we're a little too heavy at, but
Mhm.
we're organized, David. The point I'm getting at is we're so organized. We're so excited. The energy in the room, and we don't have to bash the Democrats because we have an agenda. We know what we're doing. Whether you're totally on board or just along for the ride, we are not backing down. And it's like voter registrations going up. People from California that are Republicans are leaving California to come here. People are finally coming here from places that are liberal and not bringing liberal politics.
Right.
So
It,
I'm
it,
I'm excited.
it's funny that you mentioned. It's not funny, but thank you for mentioning voter registration. Just this past Tuesday, um, we had National Voter Registration Day. And so, of course, Democrats, across the country are like, hey, we got to get out and vote or register people to vote. This is important. I saw on national media long lines of individuals, young people, lining up to vote. Unfortunately, here in Florida, I saw some of the posts. I saw, a handful of people registering to vote at UCF. However, there was one article that I was reading this morning that stood out, and there was a voter registration drive in Delray, which is which county is that, Joel?
Palm Beach County.
Palm
It's in
Beach
Palm
County,
Beach County,
yes, which voted
which is
for
flipped.
DeSantis in
Which,
this
which
last
is
election,
which is
and
which is
and
flipped. I just
right,
want to interrupt for
exactly,
just a
yep,
second. Osceola is actually now a Republican county. Also, it is in the category now. So we are taking over these counties, and we need to be. We are getting excited. We're
right.
getting really excited to
So
be
right, so
competitive in Osceola County. Even
Osceola County, really, I gotta look up that information. Was that a recent
that was
news?
something they mentioned at the Statements dinner. I will double check the
Please,
precise
please do.
numbers. But
Right.
to hear Osceola in somebody's mouth at that event is not usually it's not usually. But
So
Palm
in
Beach,
Delray, right, in Delray, there was, a couple of sites at local libraries that were set up, and the Democrats reported that, the turnout wasn't all that great. It wasn't really publicized that Democrats were making the effort to get voters out statewide, or get people out to register statewide. There wasn't really any marketing put behind it. It was left up to the local DECs. I know our local DEC, the Democrats. Executive committee. We lost our chair. Don Curtis resigned from this leadership position again, and we just voted in her replacement, Samuel Vicis Santiago, who was the vice chair. And I just learned that the UCF chair of the College Democrats recently resigned, and he's been replaced by someone else. So it's kind of disheartening when you don't have money for
mhm.
these voter registration drives, for marketing these
So
voter registration drives, and when your leadership is resigning, the
mhm.
inconsistencies are glaring. And that's
Osceola,
unfortunate.
I just want to clarify. Osceola has had significant gains, is what the actual
Okay.
words were.
I can believe that.
So,
I've been watching the voter
But
rolls
Palm
lately,
Beach
and I've seen some of the Democrat numbers reduce, and
is
we're and the
interesting
Republicans have about 600,000 voter advantage over the Democrats. Go ahead, Joel.
right now. Yes, no, I agree. What we're seeing is in Osceola County, just to make sure the things I do know. Uh, Mark Cross is doing a fantastic job. He's gotten it organized since he's been there. Um, he was reelected. Very few actual reelections happened in the GOP throughout the state.
Hmm.
So he's significantly increased the excitement in Osceola County, and it's
Okay.
evident. So, but Palm Beach County, I mean, who would have thunk that Brian Mast represents them? He still represents them. Yes, some people think he might be a little bit moderate,
Sure.
but he's not. He's not as moderate as you would think, because the Palm Beach County is coming around. It's starting to make Broward County, look like an ocean. I mean, 'cause it's starting to get a little purple there,
Right.
and Miami has it's blue in a lot of places, but they're voting a lot of Republicans down there.
And the Republicans have made inroads. They have the money. That's important to help the local Republican executive committees with their outreach to their voters and their potential voters. And going back to the article that we're referencing in this particular episode, the efforts made, whether it's on television or radio, especially in South Florida, on the radio, to get the conservative message out to the conservative Hispanic community is so effective, and it is paying dividends. Again, it's going to be another, in my opinion, professional opinion, that the Democrats won't be able to bounce back for another decade. There's a lot of infrastructure issues. Back to the Republicans, they have done the work. They have done the work. It's been a generation of investment in the party. There's been an investment in the message and the agenda of conservative politics, an investment in a bench for conservative politics. It's impressive, and I
An
and I
investment in the
respect it.
lines being redrawn.
Yes, yes. Even
Yeah,
though there have been challenges in the
mhm.
court, and in particular to DeSantis's administration, whether it's the abortion bans, whether it is the "Don't Say Gay" bill, or the
Parents'
redistricting.
bill. That's the Parents' Bill of Rights for those that really don't know what that is.
Mhm. Thank you, but we all know it to be the "Don't Say Gay" bill.
No, it's
But
not. No, it's not.
I
So,
mean, the fight with Disney, the lawsuits back and forth, and even DeSantis's major financial supporters saying, "What's the whole point?" I mean, really, what's the whole point? But then that's DeSantis, and that's DeSantis's agenda, which Republicans have signed on to.
I
Um,
mean, at the Statesman dinner, Carolina Amnesty was called out for being a bold leader in the party, because Disney is in her district and she supported legislation.
yes, she did. She
Um,
was there on the
so,
on the stage with the governor when he said, "Hey, maybe we'll put a state prison next to Disney."
I mean, there's a lot going on, and when you focus on your party itself and healing your party, which
Mhm.
it might not be the same party I recognize, with some people liking tariffs and stuff. They're just different things. But
Mhm.
when it comes down to, you got to unite, we unite, even if it's behind somebody you don't appreciate, like, or something. We come together and we push that agenda forward. Um, yeah,
It-
it's
it-
just the Republican way, and
uh,
you see people like in Massachusetts, they have all these Democrats, but what were they doing for several years? And even today, they love to put governors in that are Republican
Getting
to
complacent,
to
you know?
to challenge that local government.
The Democrats have gotten complacent, and they love their meetings. I'm sure that the Republicans, have their share of meetings. However, you see a cohesive, like you said, they come together, and there's a cohesive um, call to action. There's a cohesive message. There is a cohesive plan action, a plan of action which is executed to success. And again, I believe there are things that the Democrats can learn from the last 20 odd years. And enough of the selfies, enough of the accolades amongst
Uh,
ourselves, and be about the business of the people. And
Here's the issue. Here's the issue from my perspective, David. And you become an activist party, right? You have all these, hey, we're going to go do this. We're going to do this. So, support Worrell. They're great. They're starting to dwindle because there's no more passion. There's not that energy behind all these. Sit down and do some legislation. Sit down and put some candidates. 35 is going to be an interesting race when it comes out to it, right? Because it's going to be a focused race. There's no radical agenda there on either side. I
I'm
mean,
sorry, Joe, was that House District 35 special election
yeah,
you said?
House, three Democrats, three Republicans. We'll see those primaries. What kind of candidates will they be? Will they be, the radical right, radical left? Will they be something a little bit more in the middle? I mean, I'm not putting anything on it. Like, I can talk about the Republican race. You got Scotty Moore, and uh, um,
Joel, before we get into HC35, we're getting you breaking in and out
okay,
on
I'm
your
sorry,
end there.
that
It's not. It's not working.
it's not improving because
It could be right. It could be a
he's
connection.
dying.
We
He's
could wrap
probably dying.
this part. This is a very good conversation and revisit it.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about it was really going to focus on the Republicans because we do this very far on the left and I mean in the middle, very right. So it'll be interesting what comes out of that race.
Indeed, indeed. It's high stakes for all of the candidates, for both parties in the special district, House District 35. But we're gonna revisit this because this is a really good conversation about the Republican Party and how they got to where they are. It was a very good article, and it's something that again Democrats should learn from.
I'm going to charge my headset so I don't come in and out.
Okay. Hey, this is You Can't Make This Shit Up. Joe Hawksley, you're a conservative. David Washington, you're liberal. We appreciate everything that you do for us by tuning in, liking our content, sharing our content, and more importantly, engaging with us in your comments across all of our socials and website. We appreciate you. We are your political innovators. Jay in Washington, thank you.